Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to our show. We have gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the multiverse, two of the nerdiest geeks to be found. We proudly present the professor and her geeky girlness herself, Ace. And now it's time. Geeky KOOL Presents Professor and Ace.
Hey everybody, welcome to Geeky KOOL Presents Professor and Ace Season 2, Episode 1. Episode 92 if you count both of them together. So we're back after a long hiatus, so we wanted to get on here and talk and be able to hang out and do some fun stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to keep this schedule for a while. We'll have to confirm what day we're going to do it on, but we'll figure it out.
It's either going to be Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Yep, Tuesdays or Thursdays. So watch out. We'll have announcements, and then of course sometimes things happen. So like Tuesday, things happen. Miscommunication on my part. So it happens. So we will be doing this regularly. We are back, and we hope to bring some fun entertainment to you guys. And of course, your comment lines are always open. Comment to us. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know what you think about our topics.
So reminded me of the phone lines are open. You remember the wrestling, wrestling phone lines? I heard Mean Gene Okerlund going the phone lines are open for Nitro, get the inside scoop. Sorry.
What was it? It was Waterboy, where his character calls the wrestler.
Yes.
It's like, how old are you there, boy? Are you 12? No, sir. I'm 25, and living with my mama. Oh. Yeah, I love that.
Hi, Mandy.
Hey, Mandy. Look at that. Thanks, Mandy. We appreciate that. You're one of our favorite people, too. We love you, Mandy.
You are. We always love Mandy. There's somebody else watching. If you're watching, because it says there's two people watching, so comment so we know who's watching.
Hi, who's watching? Come and tell us that you're watching. Yeah, we're always glad to have people watch. I don't get very many people watching as I do my live little few minute things that I do. My geek speak.
New one.
Because my new one, because I do 5 to 10 minutes or so, and it's not long enough for people to really get on and say hi. So I don't get many people at that time, but hopefully people are enjoying that too. So that is something that we have added since we were last here. So I'm excited about that.
We've got some plans, just getting them into motion, but we got plans for this year.
We do. We have big plans for 2023 since we're in the new year now.
Oh my God. The last year went by way too fast.
But in some ways, it was way long.
It was stressful. It wasn't necessarily long. It was just stressful. But it's a thing.
Yeah, that does happen, and life has a tendency. Hopefully, my belief is 2023 is going to be a better year for all of us, you and me especially. But it's going to be a much better year. It's going to feel more back to what used to be normal, and we're gonna have a great time, and things are gonna be awesome.
Listen, do you have a New Year's resolution?
Mine. Well, you got your typical. I need to exercise more, lose weight, and watch what I eat more. But I'm also trying to better my mind this year. So I'm trying to do some things to spend some time reading and prayerful meditation and stuff like that to kind of better myself that way. And I just want to be a better person. That's my goal.
That's gonna be hard. You're such a good person.
Yeah, well,
he is. He's a good person. My New Year's resolution is to take time in moments for myself without feeling guilt.
Right. Because you do that. You feel guilt about taking time.
All the time.
And you feel guilt about people trying to, help you and spend time with you and all that.
I do, because I always feel like I'm an inconvenience or a bother.
Exactly. Which is why people come to get you.
It's a thing. But somebody's like try to meditate, and I've tried before, but I do not know how to meditate.
You're right.
Because I don't know how to turn my mind off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try some guided meditations this year. And hopefully I can, maybe even if I can't turn my mind off, I can quiet it a little bit.
Well, what helps me is not trying to turn my mind off, but trying to give it something else to focus on. And trying to, and sometimes, being ADD, my mind has a tendency to not stay focused for very long. But that's part of what I'm trying to do is, just make sure I take some time to do some of that. So yeah, that's good.
Good.
Well, with the new year, we want to start our first episode out with talking about some of the things we're excited for. We're going to focus on movies, and I think we are going to focus on television shows next week. We talked about it. And
listen, he just said, what are you looking forward to in 2023? And I just went to movies. And so I didn't do any research or make a list for television shows. So he's trying to make it like, we plan this. No, it's because AJ just went movies.
Yeah, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
This is my list alone.
It's a good list.
Movies.
And I've got some that are not on your list, and you've got some that are not on my list, and it'll be fun. And
we'll get some.
And some of them we both are excited about. So some of it, it's like, yeah, if I see that, that's okay.
Yeah, I have a couple.
So some of it, I'm just not like, yeah, I can't wait to see this. And I'm like, okay. And some of it, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm out on that. I've already like, not for me. So, but that's okay. But let's get going on it. And I will give you first choice on the banners there on what you would, or the branding, the pictures, the one you want to pull up and talk about first.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, we have so many pictures in here.
I know. Some of them are for television shows, since I added some of those in there. So.
I was like, what is all these? Oh yeah, there are a couple of these television shows, and I'm like, yes, please.
All right, there we go.
Shazam.
Shazam.
Okay, first of all, I love the look of this so far.
Yes.
Like, I love the look of the costumes and the characters. Sometimes when you get these castings, you're like, they got it wrong. I don't see any of that where it's like blatantly wrong. I mean, there's a couple little changes to like what I would do, but it's not anything I'm upset about. And that's a big thing.
I completely agree with that. I'm also excited for this movie because I love the character of Captain Marvel, Shazam.
I get it, but he is Captain Marvel.
I agreed.
Shazam he can't go by Shazam, because if he introduced himself, hey, I'm Shazam, he'll turn back into a little kid.
That's always been my argument with that when people say that. It's like, I'm, yeah. In the other character, like, you've Captain Marvel Jr. Yeah. What do you do with him then?
Shazam
because
Jr.?
He's just Shazam Jr. And you could never say Captain Marvel, because that was his word to turn into Captain Marvel Jr. So he just called him CM. So I don't know. I don't really. Anyway.
That is just carryover, and I get it, because Marvel Universe, it's a DC, it's not Marvel, and it's confusing to people if you call him Captain Marvel, since there's DC. Marvel has Captain Marvel. It's a thing.
And the movie couldn't be called Captain Marvel because Marvel owns the rights to that name, and we've done stories on that, on how that's all happened, what all that means, and blah blah blah. So I don't want to rehash all that, but they don't have
look great.
Right. The character, I love the humor of the first one, and the second one looks even better. I'm real excited. I posted a video from. Oh gosh, my brain just went out. the guy who plays Captain Marvel, Shazam. He was Chuck.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
I don't
By the way,
know. But
yeah, I
anyway,
have
so I posted a video from him talking about how excited he is about the movie and also what?
Zachary.
Yep. Zachary.
Levi. Oh my.
Zachary Levi, and about how he thinks that people need to chill out on the whole DC thing because people are all upset with the changes coming to DC. He's like, just wait and see.
Well, and not just that, but like, I'm going to say this, just in history, DC doesn't do cinematic universes like Marvel does. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I've always thought that was okay. If they mix movies, that's fine, but they don't have to do that to give you good movies.
Right.
Like, they don't have to extend it. Marvel just happened to do it because they had like a whole like extended brainchild thing that they were doing, which I think got changed along the way, but sure. It ended where they wanted it to end. Like, it's beginning where it wants to begin and end. But I just enjoy it. Shazam was an amazing movie.
It was.
So funny. And even if it never happened to go any more than just the Shazam family and characters that are in that comic, I'm okay with that.
I am too. And basically, Zachary's point is just chill out and wait and see what happens and understand that people are upset, but just wait and see. You don't have to throw a big fit right now because anything can happen. So anything can happen. And you do have two good people running the new DC studios, so there is a lot of good potential there. So
there's some hope.
Yeah, most definitely. And I may be typically more of a Marvel guy, but I want to see DC do well because I want there to be good DC movies. Because movies like Shazam, I really enjoyed. The first Wonder Woman movie.
Oh.
Stuff like that.
Second one.
Yeah,
first one. First one. Right. Pinky Heart Healthy. So
I'm with you.
Excited about seeing like the Shazam family. Like, that's the other thing. It's that Captain Marvel family, the Marvel family.
Yep.
I'm so excited about seeing them because these are characters that aren't as known.
Right.
But some of them are way more in depth than Captain Marvel or Shazam. Mm-hmm. You now know him. They have different layers to them, and the way they play off of each other in the comics is so much fun because it's not just like the Justice League or like it's not just superheroes that get together and do things and then they all go to their separate ways. No, they live together as children.
Right.
I mean, that alone, how siblings are.
Well, I really am hoping we get to see, I forget his name, the Tiger. So I'm hoping maybe we get some sort of little thing with him in there or something, just because that'd be fun. But I'm real excited for this movie. The villains look awesome.
Yes.
Our heroes look a ton of fun, and I love how he hasn't perfected things yet. According to the trailer, he's still messing up, just flying around the city.
Talkie.
Yes.
WKY.
That's right.
I was like thinking like Tony, but not Tony the Tiger, but like but Talkie. Yeah.
That would be cool. All right, so I'll pick the next one to talk about here. What one should we go with? Let's go with this one. We're going to go with the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I'm super excited for this.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I tried to find a good one too because I was like looking at it and it's all screenshots from the trailer. Like, I didn't see like very much of anything else.
There isn't a lot else, but I'm super excited for this. This looks like a ton of fun and looks a lot more like like how you play Dungeons and Dragons. It just looks like a ton of fun.
that's the thing. Like, they've done a Dungeons and Dragons movie, which I actually like.
A few different ones.
Yes. The one I'm thinking of is the first one that they did.
Yeah,
I actually
like 2000, yeah.
Yes. But to be fair, it's not played out like you play out a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Right.
It was like, an epic quest, which is fine, but there was no like weird, hey, we have to open this chest and we don't have a key and how are we going to do this? And like there was no banter. And that's the fun thing about Dungeons and Dragons when you're playing role playing is that banter and that character development of like learning all of these things. And the fact that the heroes don't always succeed.
They do not.
Sometimes your DM goes, oh, you want to roll to fight this guy? I mean, okay, you can try.
Yeah, well, you can sure try. Does a 30 hit?
You're like, you have two hit points left. You can try.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about it. It's like life. You have to just keep trying.
Right.
And this looks so fun because it looks like people who played Dungeons and Dragons wrote a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Exactly. Not just taking the name.
Yes.
But even the dragons look awesome. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's not all about special effects. It's really about the plot of the movie and how the characters are. But Chris Pine in this looks amazing as the bard. I plan things, but he also plays the lute. Well,
I love that they have the different characters. Like, I feel like in other Dungeons and Dragons movies, yes, they had other characters, but they never played their character correct.
Right.
Like they're a bard, but they're actually a barbarian kind of like fighter, kind of like, which you can be, but you should.
It's really hard to multi-class barbarian and bard. I mean,
it is. I mean, I played a game where somebody did, and they did it hilarious. It was kind of like if you picture Drax, Guardians of the Galaxy, but instead he mixes with like Quill, and they have like this song and dance, but they still smash things. But it's not something that you normally see, and if you have a bard, you should play it like a bard.
Right, exactly.
So I'm super excited about that.
I am too. It looks like a ton of fun. I will probably try to see that one in the theaters also, because that one's.
Hey, come down here to Branson and see it with me,
and
then we can do a review right afterwards, and we can give this distinguished competition a run for their money.
This is true. We could do that. All right. So, which one would you like to go with next?
Oh, he put stuff on here for TV shows, and I didn't know we were doing TV shows.
Oh.
Okay.
Just past the TV shows. Good pick.
I picked this one because you're standing behind me.
Good pick there, John Wick.
So, fun fact: I had never seen a John Wick movie until I got with him.
I'm not surprised by that because it's not going to be your typical movie for.
It's not, but they're really, really good.
They are. I agree.
Like they're an action movie, but with like some smart, like intelligent things going on behind it.
Well, I love in at least the first one. I think a little bit in the second one also, how they really kind of portray him as a boogeyman almost. Like,
right. He's scary. He
is scary.
He's the person you don't want. If you're in trouble, you don't want somebody going, oh, I'll send John Wick your way.
It's like they said in the first movie, he's the guy you call to kill the boogeyman.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a meme. Did you see the meme about John Wick being like Neo, but if they took the other pill?
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and it kind of in my head was like, I kind of see that. But no, I really like the last one, the third one.
Last one was very good also, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the times when they're getting up to like 4, it's like, okay, there's one that's like not as good, or a couple that are like not as good. I feel like these, I mean, I have favorite parts of them, but I feel like they're constantly and consistently good movies.
I agree with that.
So
they've been amazing. I've been really impressed with it. So and I finally got my list pulled up. So Shazam! Fury of the Gods, March 17th is opening day. John Wick Chapter 4 is March 24th. And Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves is the 31st. So all 3 are March movies for us that we put out there.
So what we'll need to do is schedule like somewhere, either like every week if you want to. We can do that.
Yeah, every week. Well, I don't know if I can afford every week. And
well, it would just be coming down here. The movie would be my treat.
Well, I don't know I want to do that too, but we'll...
Well, I mean, my husband does work at the movie theater.
I know he does. So is he sneaking me in? Is that what's happening? He's going to sneak me in the back? And...
No. Yeah, they get passes every...
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right then. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't being snuck in. I
don't want people to think that I have like hundreds of passes. They get a couple passes to give out to people. Just letting you know.
It's limited, people. It's limited. Well, do you know sometimes you think you've added something to a list and then you go and look for it and it's not there. You're like, where is this screen capture? Because I know I added this thing. So that's where I'm at now, because I did a whole bunch of adding.
Right.
And I don't know if some of them just didn't get added right or what's going on, because I'm like, oh, well, and some of the things that you had said, I'm like, oh, yeah, I got that one, I got that one, I got that one. And apparently I didn't have some of them. So that's interesting, right? Because, that's what I'm looking at now. Is I'm going to go with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which looks really cool.
I mean, I love in the trailer where she's like, we can broadcast to the quantum realm, and Michelle Pfeiffer's character is like, no, turn it off.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I just think it's like that teacher who sees the kid doing something wrong and they're like, no. And it's too late. You've already unleashed it.
And in the trailer, it was unleashed too early there. I don't know what happened. So we may have some movies here that we don't have screen captures of, but yes, that movie looks like a ton of fun. We've got Kang returning from Loki. From the Loki movies, and now he's in full Kang wear. When you see him, he looks like Kang from the comic books.
I know.
Oh, and for people that don't know, Kang the Conqueror is a big time villain in the Marvel universe, especially with the Avengers. And
the biggest.
He's going to be a focal character that's going to be showing up in a lot of stuff in this next
days. Yeah.
Yep. So
and they brought him in Loki, the TV show on Disney Plus, and I love the way they brought him in because he wasn't Kang the Conqueror. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Kang at the end of time, just going end of all this time streams and and variants and all of this stuff. Like he was a variant of Kang.
Right.
And I liked that. I liked that idea. So, but no, I'm super excited about, first of all, I love Ant-Man.
Me too.
He's one of my favorites. Of course, Spider-Man is absolutely forever will be one of my favorites. But when you're talking about the Avengers, Spider-Man doesn't always come into it.
Right. Right.
And because he's the neighborhood Spider-Man, which he should be, and I'm happy with that. But Ant-Man and the Hulk are my favorites of the, you know, Avengers.
Well, in the comics, Ant-Man, the typical Ant-Man, the one that starts off, is actually not the Ant-Man that we know in the MCU, and he's kind of a jerk,
Well,
to say the least.
And here's the thing, Scott Lang, I think that it's the way the actor plays him.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back to the very first time you see Ant-Man in any movie, he's not like a super good guy who's like, he loves his kid, but he does bad things.
Right.
So, you know, but it's just really, really, really hard to have that actor without going, aww.
Well, in the first Ant-Man, I knew people that didn't like the first Ant-Man. I'm like, it is a father-daughter and a father-daughter movie. So it's this relationship between two different sets of fathers and daughters at different points in their relationship. And as a dad of a girl, I was like, oh, I hope I never end up quite there. But I'm, so yes.
Right. It's a lot about family.
It is.
Whereas like Iron Man started off not, you know, being Iron Man and stuff, and the very end, you know, Endgame and all them, he's like a family man and stuff.
Right.
Scott Lang starts out as a family man, so it kind of has that different feel. I really, yeah. No, I'm super excited about that. When does that one come out?
That one comes out.
I love it.
Ant-Man comes out. Ant-Man and Wasp is February 17th. So that
soon.
That one is soon. And we'll start the new phase of the MCU with it. So
right. So yeah, I think there's one on my list that's not. I don't see it on our brands. And I'm only putting this one on. Hi, Danny. I'm only putting this one on here because my husband's super excited about seeing it, and it comes out on his birthday, and it is loosely based on a true story, which is not based on a true story. It's based on one little part of a true story, but it's Cocaine Bear.
Yeah,
I don't see it over here.
Oh, hold on. You know what I didn't do? I loaded it, but I did not load it in here. So there we go. I got distracted. So, okay. So there you go.
This trailer is messed up in so many wonderful ways.
So many ways, yes. And it's a little on the cray-cray side.
I bet Danny would love this. Like, I feel like he's gonna want to see this movie too, because it's one of those like movies that looks like an 80s bad B movie, but purpose, which I love. But it's based on that there was an actual event where there was a bunch of cocaine dropped out of an airplane, and I think it was like in Tennessee or somewhere like that, and a bear like got a hold of it and like ate like 90 pounds of it. But the bear didn't go on a killing rampage. It died from a drug overdose.
Imagine that.
But I guess
we got to make it more fun though. I mean, that's not a very entertaining story.
One of my biggest fears when people always talk about the zombie apocalypse, I'm like, you know what? It scares me more than like zombie humans is like if every dead animal comes back to life. So this kind of has that Cujo zombie animal feel to me. Like I am kind of scared of things that not zombies, but the Cujo thing. I grew up in a place that could have happened, but just that whole like these things could possibly happen, and how scary is that?
Very scary.
I grew up on Bear Creek, by the way. My name of my road was Bear Creek Road.
Bear Creek.
Yeah.
The thing that always scares me if I start thinking about it, what if the squirrels turned against us?
This is what I'm saying.
Because there's like 20 squirrels in the trees in my yard alone, and everybody's yard has these freaking squirrels in it. And if they became bloodsuckers and started leaping on people.
Yes. So think about this. Like, people are always talking about zombies affecting human brains. I'm like, I'm not as worried about that. But if squirrels and raccoons and bears and dogs and cats start like going zombie rampage, like, no thank you. Can you imagine going out and seeing like zombie rabbits coming at you? I have like 5 or 6 rabbits that live in my around my house in the spring. Nope.
There were 2 earlier, and now there's 5, huh?
Well, every year we have babies
that
hop around our yard. It's a rabbit thing.
It is a rabbit thing. That's the normal part. Yeah.
So are you in Cocaine Bear comes out February, I think it's 24th, or it's right around there because that's my husband's birthday, and so that's his birthday present. He wants to go see Cocaine Bear.
There you go. And Cocaine Bear was one of those that I was like, okay, I'm okay to see this movie, but I'm not excited about it.
No,
I mean, I'm like,
okay.
I mean, that's okay. If somebody says, hey, let's go see this, and I'm like, okay, I'll go see it.
Doesn't it remind you in the trailer, though, of like either the sci-fi movies that came out on Sci-Fi Channel, or like a bad 80s B movie like that Elvira would be like?
Just look at the colors. Just look at the colors. The colors, I mean, that is so 80s. You don't get much more 80s than that.
And like the moon with the, like, it's like...
Yes. Yes, with the cloth. So it kind of reminds you of like the Howling movies.
Okay, so I had this picture when I saw that logo. I was like, oh, it's like Miami Vice meets Howl meets Teen Wolf. Like,
yes, okay, yeah. If Teen Wolf was scary.
Yes, Teen Wolf.
Well, and there's a television series, isn't there?
There
is. Or something.
I've
not seen it, so.
Teen Wolf. I watched the Teen Wolf television series. It has nothing. It's the names. They kept a couple of the names, but that's it. It has nothing else, even similar, except for they turn into werewolves. But they have other animals, like there's chimeras and all kinds of stuff.
It's always interesting when you get some other were animals in there. What would you want to be, and what would be the most odd were thing? You're like, okay.
Oh, a were goat would be odd.
A were goat. I mean, you can almost see it being,
be good at climbing mountains or something.
Good at climbing mountains and chasing trolls off bridges.
Yes.
I don't know.
We go off on the weirdest things right here.
We do. All right, let's bring up the next movie here. Yes. My choice this time. Let's just do it. Let's go Guardians here. Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That is not where I thought you were going to go when you said let's just do it. I'm hoping you saved one of them for last because we both know we have a huge fandom.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Volume 3.
I'm just hoping the soundtrack is just as good as the
other. Yes, I agree. To be fair, and I'm hoping there's some sort of crazy video at the end from what's his name again? From Baywatch.
I know. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not Michael Knight, but that character he played.
It's Michael Knight. That's not the actor's name, but it's Michael Knight.
Right. Also,
I don't even remember what his name was on Baywatch. I don't even remember what his name was.
I don't know. I wasn't watching for his name.
Seriously, guys, I think that age has finally gotten to me, and I can't remember things.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same position. So, but no, Guardians of the Galaxy looks like a ton of fun.
Right.
I love on the trailer where they get they're landing. It looks like they're landing on Earth, and then it's aliens, and then
They're like little animals,
yeah, right,
and
yeah.
Drax throws the ball at the little girl.
It hits her in the face, and then everybody's throwing balls at him. Yeah, that is
They're like, we come in peace, and then Drax is like, "Oh, little girl, you dropped your ball." Because he's Drax. I think that one, I like that Groot's back to full strength. It looks like he's not baby. I loved Baby Groot, but he wasn't an interesting character. And Teenage Groot.
Teenage Groot's just a jerk, but
yes,
that's a teenager. He's a teen. So what do you expect?
But I love that Groot's back to like full strength. I kind of think that in the first one we didn't get to see a good thing with Groot because Groot was just Rocket's side character, and I'm hoping they bring Groot since he's like grown up with them and stuff like that. I hope he gets a little bit of.
Well, and now everybody in the group understands Groot. I mean, of course, we don't, but at least they understand what he's saying now, because originally it was just Rocket that understood him.
Right.
So yeah. Yep. But no, that it looks like a ton of fun. I'm hoping it will be just a great send-off for James Gunn and the whole gang. I know that David Bautista said he appreciates his time as Drax, but also that he's excited to be able to move on and hopes that's not his full legacy. And I get all that. And some people blew it out of proportion. I'm like, look at the context of what he's saying. He's not saying that Drax is a horrible character. He's saying, I'd like to be known for something else as an actor.
I think that fans get so like this person is this character to them.
Right.
They're not. They're an actor playing that character.
Are you serious?
Well, no, I think a lot of people just forget that. Like,
I know.
I loved Robert Downey Jr. way before Iron Man. Iron Man's not even my favorite Robert Downey Jr. character. He's just not. But he played him for so long, and it's just so iconically ingrained in like people when they see him, they think Iron Man.
Right.
That's a really hard thing to do. It's the reason that child actors who are in huge franchises like the Harry Potter kids have a hard time getting out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get so pigeonholed into this is the type of role you need to be in. And Bautista, he went from being a wrestler to being an actor. And I think that I actually think he's a very good actor. I don't think he's a great actor. I think he's a very good actor, especially for somebody who came from the background which he came from.
Right.
But Drax isn't that big of a transition to some like wrestling characters that he might, not that he did, but that other people did, in that the way he's written is kind of dumb and doesn't quite understand things, and he's big and he's bulky and he's the muscle. And I can see Bautista wanting to do something a little bit more to stretch and show his acting chops.
Most definitely. As somebody who's done some acting, you don't want to be stuck doing the same role all the time.
Yeah.
Even though this role's made him a lot of money and a lot of fame for people that wouldn't have known him before, but that's not the end all. Actors want to grow in their jobs and have new experiences and show what they can do. So yeah, I get it. So,
and it makes it fun. Like, how bored we get with our jobs, like day in and day out. They get to be different people, but that's why they're actors. They want to become different people for different roles. And if you are stuck with the same character over and over again, it kind of can get boring and stale. And
right.
I don't know. And some people like it.
Well, and some people, it's a comfort thing. They're very comfortable with this character. Did you see the holiday special, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special? Did you have?
I've not yet. I'm so far behind on things.
So that does happen. Anyway, there's this great scene that let me ruin for you.
That's it.
There's a great scene with Drax and Mantis, and they've gone and kidnapped Kevin Bacon, which kind of in the trailer you kind of know that's the sort of things happening. So, and Mantis has used her powers on Kevin Bacon to kind of make him relax and be able to come with them.
I need Mantis in my life.
I know, right? Right, exactly.
He is not anything like her comic book Mantis.
This is very true. Not very different character there. So, but so they start asking, and of course, these are the two most literal characters you've got. If you say something, they take everything literally, right? And so they're like, tell us about the time that you saved the city by dancing. And he's like, oh, you mean my character, blah, 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 that I played in. What do you mean? You didn't do that yourself? And like, well, tell us when you did this. And so, and then they come to realize that he didn't do any of this. He's an actor. And they look at each other, I kind of want to throw up.
But isn't that a great commentary on fans with these actors? You get to the point, and here's what's hard is there are some actors. We mentioned John Wick earlier with Keanu Reeves, and he has been part of so many great franchises.
Right.
That, can you imagine, and this is what I want people to think, can you imagine if he would never have done anything other than Bill and Ted? We wouldn't have John Wick.
Whoa.
And that's the thing. I just like stop being mad at the actors for saying they want to do something different.
Right.
Like, let's face it. They have lives. They have goals.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, I just thought that was a great scene. It was really funny talking about how they disdain actors, and it was just I rolled on the floor watching it because I'm like, it's really hysterical knowing that two people are acting in these roles, making fun of their own jobs this way.
Well, you can't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly. You can't.
Well, since we're talking about Batista.
Yes.
So this is called Knock at the Cabin. Had you seen this trailer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's up on Geeky KOOL. It's been there for a while.
See, now I just feel like a bad Geeky KOOL girl. I have not been doing a lot of stuff lately.
It's okay. I'm not judging. I'm just telling you.
I'm still recovering from a concussion, a mild concussion.
What? 3 concussions and 2 bouts of COVID, and
I had 2 bouts of COVID last year. Yeah. Since the ice storm, I've fallen 3 times. Thanks
most
to my
people fall when the ice is on the ground, not afterwards.
Twice while the ice was on the ground, taking my dog for a walk who's sick, and then once when it was raining, taking my dog for a walk. She wasn't sick that day, but I slid and I fell, and that was Monday, and I slid and I fell and I hit my head. So I'm still
still fuzzy.
A little bit. And that's why I'm like, Professor, I feel like I don't know these people. But Knock at the Cabin just looks like an interesting psychological type of movie. And I love psychological movies.
It does. My only concern with it is the director.
Yeah.
And his early stuff was so amazing, and then I just felt let down after a while with M. Night Shyamalan. How do you say his last name? Thank you. Yeah, because I liked his early stuff so much, and it just is one of those things where you're like, okay, all right, well, so I'm not uber excited about it because I'm just not sure it's going to catch me, but the premise of the movie is really interesting. That these people show up and basically tell you have to pick one member of your family to die to save the world.
Yes.
What?
You have to say, I don't know the whole premise of it. Because the trailer doesn't show you everything.
Right. It doesn't, which is good. You don't want it to show you everything.
No, but so you don't understand how these people know this. Like I gather in the trailer, one of the members of the family sees a light and says, "Oh, now I understand," and that's in the trailer. So I'm thinking that everyone else has had these moments, but it's not said. But apparently, when like every few years or something, a family has to travel to this cabin or somewhere. I don't even know if it has to be this cabin, but they are the chosen ones, and they must sacrifice someone in their family so that humanity can live. She's fallen bitches off. It's a true statement.
Get the little life lock thing there, Dave.
Yes. Knight has returned to form his last week. Now, so I loved several of his movies, and like I liked Glass. I liked that whole line of movies. I loved how he tied them all together. I loved that. But I will say that sometimes I feel like he tries too hard.
Yes.
To make things more like intellectual than they need to be.
Right.
And it feels very forced. And then sometimes when he's doing that, it actually has a reversed effect where you're like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. It's like The Village. Like with The Village, like first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, okay, so they're in modern day and they're trying to scare the people. And, it was not interesting. After you knew the monster wasn't real, it's not interesting.
Well, after you've seen some of his movies and know kind of the twist, that you kind of can predict some of the twists sometimes. And he's made some great movies, and so I'm willing to give this a chance. Most definitely willing. You excited about it? Probably not excited, but it looks the little girl sitting out front and then them coming up to her kind of really grabs you. Like, oh, well, that's interesting.
It gave me the feels like Signs did.
Yeah. Yes.
With kids. And I always tell people, like, Signs is not about the aliens. Like, people always think Signs is about the aliens, but it's not. It's about that family and about the dad's dealing with grief and his, like, belief system and stuff like that. And I liked that. But a lot of his movies fall flat sometimes. And so I'm hoping this one's going to be like Signs.
Right. And I agree, Jason, it is underrated. Yeah, I think it's a really good movie.
I'm hoping the way it looked like, because it's kind of like that, what is your belief system? It kind of gave me that feel. Like, what is your belief system? Because would you sacrifice yourself or somebody in your family to save all of humanity? And that's kind of the question. And I think it's a great ethical and psychological and philosophical question to ask in a movie.
I agree. Well, and I always like it if a movie comes in with a twist that I don't see coming, or if I'm like, okay, well, what's really going on here? Cabin in the Woods. That was one where I'm watching this going, okay, I've seen this horror movie before. Okay, well, maybe it's a little, I don't know. And then also like, oh, they're in an underground bunker and they're betting on this. Okay, I didn't see that coming for some reason.
It's one of those things. And I'm hoping. Yeah. He has done some really good stuff.
Yes.
He has had some really big disappointments. And I am just hopeful because I like the idea of this movie.
No, I'm with you.
The premise of it.
I definitely am in for seeing the movie. Yeah. But I can't quite say I'm excited for it yet, just because I guess because I've been disappointed enough with some of his other movies that I don't want to get excited, because then if it's not as good as I hoped, then I've got that letdown feeling. But if I go in and going, we'll see how it is, and even if it's just okay, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I enjoyed that.
It's like, it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so it could be a hit or miss. It's like...
Yeah, right, exactly.
So
I agree. All right, let's see what else we got here. And nope, that one's not on my list, but we'll.
What?
we talked about this one earlier. So since we're already kind of talking about the psychological and horror aspect a little bit, let's talk about Renfield.
Okay, so this looks like an amazing comedy horror.
Yeah,
I love it. I also hit or miss. Nicolas Cage is also a hit or miss kind of person. Like, I either love his movies or completely hate him in the movie. The movie doesn't have to be bad, but I'm just like, can you just try a little harder? Because I know how good he can be.
Right.
Because I loved Raising Arizona.
Oh, yes.
And Valley Girl.
Yes.
And, those early movies that he was in, he showed this amazing range of types of people. And then I feel like he's the type of actor who just doesn't turn down a role. Like, they send him a script and they're like, we'll pay you this. And he's like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah,
I don't
money. Yeah.
I don't think he turns down a role. And so sometimes I'm like, oh, that looks good. And then I get into the movie, and the movie itself is not bad, but he kind of makes it bad.
Yeah, I understand.
And other times he's amazing.
Yes.
And I don't understand the inconsistency, but I do like Nicholas Hoult, who's going to be playing Renfield, and he's the main character. And I don't hate the casting of Nicolas Cage as Dracula.
Right. Well, and he's been a vampire before in a comedy. Was it Twice Bitten? Is that what it was?
Yes. Because Once Bitten was...
Or was it? Maybe it was Once Bitten. Yeah. Which I think is hysterical that we're going back to a kind of a comedy kind of vampire movie, and he's Dracula. And I'm like, okay, I'm in, because I look at this. Have you seen the trailer? The trailer dropped today.
Yes. Watched it earlier.
Okay, I love where they're doing the intervention, like they're in a toxic relationship. Vampire kiss.
Once Bitten was Jim Carrey.
You are right. Yes.
Yeah,
that's right. But I love when they're in that group and they're like, yeah, well, that's kind of a literal way to take that. But
when he's like, if I stop feeding him, he won't go to maximum power. And they're like, yeah, because they're like talking about their bosses and how and let's face it, we all need to vent about our bosses. Even when I was a boss, I realized that the people who worked underneath me probably talked bad about me sometimes, because that's just what we do.
Right.
But I just love the idea that it kind of reminds me of What We Do in the Shadows kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Except it's, he doesn't necessarily like his job, but he's, a vampire's caregiver, and
right.
He's got these special. They say it in the trailer. I got special powers, but in exchange, I have to do the bidding of this vampire. And I love that he becomes friends with that cop that he saves her life, and she's like, "Oh, so you're like his, slave, like."
Right. Well, it's interesting knowing the different renditions of Renfield over in movies and also in novels of the same character has been with Dracula since the first Dracula book came out, that he was in doing his bidding in an insane asylum and all of this.
But we never see Renfield's life.
Right. Other than a chapter in the book, which was interesting.
Right. But it wasn't expanded enough.
No, I agree. No, I love that we're taking this character and focusing on them in modern day.
Yes.
I think that's hysterical.
I also like Nicholas Hoult. I think Nicholas Hoult is first of all, I think he's funny enough. He has this weird sense of humor. I feel like in real life, he probably has a weird sense of humor, but he plays this person who has this weird toting the line of this dark humor versus humor.
Right.
And I think it fits really well. And I loved in the trailer when Nicolas Cage is standing at the door and the guy goes, "Come on down," and he's just because everyone knows a vampire cannot enter unless he's invited in.
Exactly.
That's why I never invite anybody into my house.
No. I stand there and wait, and you're just like, what do you want?
You've been in my house.
Oh,
You've been in this room.
I have been.
But
I'm just being silly.
I think it just looks fun.
It does.
And I'm hoping that Nicolas Cage doesn't suck. And if he does, I hope he sucks in a good way.
Exactly.
But no, it just looks really fun. And I just think that it looks modern. And it takes that whole Dracula thing into that modern age, which is one of the things I like about what we do in the Shadows. They take those vampires, but they're older vampires, and they take them in. And Nicolas Cage is playing this. It looks like traditional Dracula.
Yes.
Like he's playing it like he's Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, hundreds and hundreds of years old. But Renfield is modern, which I thought was fun.
It is totally fun that way. And the fact that he ends up in a support group, I just found too funny.
It's hilarious. It does remind me of, though, I really do feel like they took it from What We Do in the Shadows, because there's a whole couple episodes where Guillermo goes to a support group. And yeah.
That's probably very true. Well, the humor in it looks almost like some of the humor from the original Buffy movie.
Yes.
So that always cracks me up too, because I love that movie. The series is amazing. It's superior to the movie, but the movie was the basis of it.
Here's the thing, and I try to say this: the movie is kitschy.
Yes.
The series took itself way more serious, which I like.
Way more serious, right?
Way more serious. Now, in the first season, maybe not as much, but as it got older and Buffy got older, it became more like a soap opera type.
It CW'd.
Yes.
It became CW'd.
CW'd it. That is a term I use actually all the time. I'm like, that movie, they kind of CW'd it, because they turn it into like this teen fantasy, romance, soap opera, drama. Oh.
The angst of,
I call it the Degrassi effect.
Nice. I like it.
A lot of movies and stuff do that. It's like, it's kind of annoying. I'm just saying.
Well, sometimes you just don't need that. So,
all right,
so what's next on the list for you?
Let's see here. We will go
Little Transformers.
All right, I'm a huge Transformers fan. Now, the movies almost always let me down.
Yep. Bumblebee
did not. I love Bumblebee.
Awesome. Yeah.
But Bumblebee I liked because it was character driven.
Yes.
And it wasn't like, it didn't feel forced. And like they were trying to put action in every scene for no reason. Like one of the things I love about Artemis, go lay down. Sorry, my dog. One of the things I loved about the cartoon is I always felt like it was one of those smarter cartoons.
Yes.
When we were growing up. You know what I mean? Like there was, my sister would watch like Pound Puppies and Smurfs. Right. And I liked Smurfs. Don't get me wrong. I was a Smurf girl. But Transformers was like, they didn't talk down to you.
Right.
It was smarter. And the characters had like depth, even though they were machines. And I feel like a lot of the times the movies try to do that, but they want the big explosions and actions and
Michael Bay.
Yes, it's a thing. And so Bumblebee I liked because it slowed it down and told a story. Right. And yes, there was action, but it told a story.
Right.
And I feel like this is going to go back to the not telling the story from the trailer, but I'm still excited about it. First of all, Bumblebee's in it, and I love Bumblebee. On my desk at work, I have 8 Bumblebees, different kinds of Bumblebees. I have a Bumblebee tattoo. He is my favorite Transformer of all time. And I'm just super excited. I also like that it's the Rise of the Beast because I did find them fun when I was a kid.
I was a little older, so I really didn't watch Beastmasters. I caught just little pieces of it, but yeah, I was never really sure if that was good quality or not because like I said, I never really watched it. So
It
I
was a
saw
little
that.
bit more kitschy. It was a little bit
Sure.
more. I feel like it was a little bit. So I talked about Transformers not dumbing things down. I feel like it dumbed things down a little bit more,
Sure.
but I like the looks of them and the fact that they weren't just machines. I think it helped with a lot of girls my age were not into Transformers because they're cars.
Right.
And this is going to be not PC in this day and age, but back when I was growing up, 40 plus years ago, girls played with dolls and boys played with cars. That's kind of what we did.
And cars that transformed into robots are cool.
Right. And I thought it was cool. And my friends who are girls were like, is it though? We can like Poochie or Care Bears. And I love these things too. But like Care Bears and Poochie and Pound Puppies and all those things. And that was what they were into. And I was like, those are cool, but there's cars that turn into robots and talk and save the world.
Exactly.
Way cooler.
So now, can you throw the picture back up for a moment? Here's what I liked about this. Optimus Prime is not just some silver standing robot that I can't tell the difference between him and Megatron.
He looks like Optimus.
Right. You can see the truck chest. You can see, it's Optimus Prime, baby. This is the Optimus Prime I've been waiting for. And we saw a little bit of this with what moments he was in Bumblebee. And I think the last movie before, and I kind of gave up on some of it, he had more of this look, but I love this look and the gorilla one. He looks great there. So I'm just it's not Rodimus Prime. It's Optimus Primal, isn't that what it is? Optimus Primal. So I look at that and I'm like, that looks really cool. It looks right. For the first time when they're transformed, they always looked right when they were the cars, but then they would transform and you're like,
they were wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked Bumblebee because they brought him back to the VW. The bug, which he's Bumblebee, it's a bug. I know it's not, it's a beetle, but it's still a bug. And they brought him back in that first movie. And then at the end, he changes into more modern. But that's what I liked because he looked like what I remember. A little tweaking. They got to make him a little cooler because let's face it, those toys were a little not best made toys ever. But
they were not GoBots, which were really bad.
Oh my god. You went there.
GoBots were it was a bad cartoon and bad toys.
They were.
All right, let's move on to another one here. And we may not get through all of them, guys. So, because it's already 8:09. So I know. Well, let's go to another actor that people either are hot or cold on, and one that seems to find his niche well, but some people just don't like him, and I understand why. But I love these movies. We're talking about the Mission Impossible movies.
I just like him so much. I do. I can't.
And that's okay. I can get past a lot of stuff, and I love the Top Gun. The remake, not remake, but the new movie was awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Tom Cruise, as many problems as he has,
he's a good actor.
He's a good actor, and he does his own stunts, and he does research on things, and I'm just like,
I just don't like the man.
No, I get that.
And he annoys me. And sometimes in some movies he annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
But Mission Impossible, his character and his personality in real life kind of mesh in that movie in a really good way. and I'm not saying I don't like Tom Cruise movies, because if Risky Business is on, or Far and Away, or
you just want to see him in his underwear for Risky Business.
not even him. It's not even him in that movie. It's Rebecca. She is hot.
She is hot, but
You just didn't expect me to say that.
I didn't expect you to go there. Right. Well,
but,
and in Far Away, it's not him either.
No,
Oh my gosh. Nicole Kidman in that movie. And the racing one.
Days of Thunder.
Oh, her red hair, her accent. Oh my god.
But see, I've seen almost every Tom Cruise movie. Not even gonna lie, because he's not a bad actor.
No, not at all.
I didn't like was it Vanilla Sky?
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
I left. No, actually, I rented it, and my wife went to bed halfway through going, this makes no sense, I'm going to bed. And I'm like, it'll get better. And I watched it, and I'm like, what did I miss? So I'm missing the point of this somewhere, and I don't know what it is.
So why do you like Mission Impossible movies?
I liked the television show when I watched it in reruns when I was a kid, because it was a fun espionage. Got your little gadgets. So it was like James Bond, but
you love James Bond.
I do love James Bond, and again, I love the espionage stuff, especially if it's written well. And always loved, like I said, loved the series. They redid the series as a new series in the '80s. It was really good, and so then the movies came along, and I just felt like it was a very smart writing for most of the movies.
Right.
And Tom Cruise's character is very compelling as a character in it. So I've just always liked it. So I'm excited to see another one. And I'm just like, okay, I'm in. It's Mission Impossible. I'm in.
Right. And see, I'm not a huge Mission Impossible person either. And we've talked about this. I'm not a huge James Bond person. Right. I don't necessarily like. Spy movies have a very specific formula.
Yeah.
And they hardly ever steer away from that formula. And that to me, I don't. You know how I am. You like that, like, yes, I know what I'm getting into. I want to go in a movie and go, what am I getting into?
Well, and I want some of that.
Yes.
But there's certain things that I want, like, okay, you don't go into romantic comedy to see the couple at the end not get together, right?
I mean, I would go watch that all the time because that's realistic.
Most people that go into romantic comedy, and I don't usually go into them because I find them, again, very formulaic. Like, okay, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be this and this and this, and there's. I think the difference for me is that I get it's the fun of the action and the fun of kind of looking at, because I always thought it'd be fun to be a spy anyway. So, and
that's what I was gonna say. I think that a lot of men who grew up in the 70s and the 80s and early 90s even, there was just this mysterious thing about being a spy. After the Cold War, when people learned that there were actual spies, like before that, you just thought they were during war. And then you're like, oh no, there's spies all the time. And after people knew that, and they started doing these fictional shows about it all the time, even the funny ones like Get Smart and all that stuff, like it was a thing.
Right.
And I think that I get it. I understand it. It's the same reason that little girls want to be princesses.
Right.
It's a fantasy, and you're like, I get to be a princess. I've never wanted to be a princess.
Did you ever see the show The Americans?
Yes.
See, I love that also. That was really cool. But again, I love that kind of thing. If it's done well, it can almost have a noir feel on how it handles the plot.
You love that.
I do love that. So anyway, I'm excited for Mission Impossible. And you know what? We're going to have some on here we don't agree with, and that's perfectly okay. We can all be excited about different things. So what do you got up next year for us?
Let's see here. Okay, this one.
Okay, yep.
It's so cute looking. First of all, I'm a Nintendo girl. I've always been a Nintendo girl, and I played every Mario that they ever made until like a couple years ago when I just couldn't afford a Nintendo anymore. But I love the look of this because they did the live action, which was not good.
What early 90s was that when it was? Yeah.
Yeah. And they've done the cartoons, and I've watched the cartoons, and I don't like them because they're really targeted. Even though they're animated, they should be targeted for people my son's age to my age because that's people that played Nintendo as much. But they're really targeted for younger kids, and I don't like that. This one, the humor in it seems like a grown-up could like it.
Right. Like Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
You've got it where kids can enjoy it, but also adults can really enjoy it.
Yes. And I like that, the animation in it looks beautiful. Like Mario looks so good. Like, look at those eyes. You can see the whisk of hairs and stuff like that. Like, I think this is the time in animation that a Mario animated movie is a good time to come out, because I feel like we've seen him evolve from like this 8-bite, until, and but I just think it's fun. And Bowser, he's gonna fight Bowser. Like, it's not anything different, and he's not going from world to world to world to world, is what it looks like, because he did that in the live action. But it looks like he's in this world, and Bowser has his brother, and
in the part of the trailer where Bowser's thing stops and the little penguins come out, I mean, that's just awesome. Because
that's awesome.
Oh, okay.
That is Mario 64 all day long with those penguins, I'm telling you. I like the little toads. I like that, like, Princess Peach is like, we're going to fight him. And they're like, but we're adorable.
There you go. So I have to confess, Mario was never my favorite.
Link and Zelda are my favorites.
No, yeah.
But I so loved the idea of Mario because I love that whole, like, going to another world. Like, they're plumbers going down a pipe and you go to another world. It's that whole Narnia thing.
That's true. No, I get that. No, that is the interesting part of it. Now, I was never very good at jumping and doing all the stuff at the right times. I did not have that coordination, nor did I have a Nintendo until Super Nintendo was about halfway through its prime, and then I got a Super Nintendo because, I was actually, I wasn't even an Atari guy. I was a Odyssey 3 guy. All the weirdness of that. But I remember playing Donkey Kong, enjoyed Donkey Kong, but friends in college had Nintendos, and we would play, but I was never great at Mario. Now, Zelda, I love Zelda all day long because that was just amazing. But I'm like, I don't hate Mario, but I was like, okay, all right, we'll see how it is.
Dakota got us a Switch for Christmas, like, as a family gift.
Yeah.
So, and then we have, like, the account now, and so on the expanded pack, he has, like, the Nintendo 64 stuff, and so I can play all the Zeldas.
See, there you go.
That means I have to have time.
That's what you got to make time to do that. Break the jars.
Oh my goodness! What other ones do you have? I think we'll be able to go through most of these, Professor.
Well, let's hit another Marvel one that's going to be out here for us. The Marvels. A lot of people are really kind of down on this, and I'm like, you know what? I loved Miss Marvel. I enjoyed Captain Marvel, especially enjoyed her roles in the Avenger movies, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we're going to do with the other one. I can't think of her name at the moment because she was Captain Marvel before Captain Marvel was Captain Marvel in the comic books.
I thought her mom was Captain Marvel before Captain Marvel was Captain Marvel. And then she became Captain Marvel after.
Maybe that.
She's the little girl.
Right, she was a little girl in the movie, but I thought her character was the one in the 80s that was the Captain Marvel in the Avengers. But maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know. Like, it might be. Like,
Rambeau is not Rambeau,
yeah.
no, because that's... No, it is. It's Rambeau. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm looking at this going, especially with her character that was in Scarlet... I'm sorry. Yeah. WandaVision. Thank you. Oh my gosh. In WandaVision, where she went through and got powers that we're finally going to get to see. And then we've got, at the end of Miss Marvel, where Captain Marvel shows up there and traded places with Miss Marvel. So I'm actually kind of excited to see this because it looks like fun.
And I loved Miss Marvel. I thought it was fun. Cheeky. It was. Yes. I loved that they kept it. I was worried because she is very Pakistani in the comics. Like, and I was worried they were going to like whitewash her a little bit. Not exactly whitewash her. I knew she was going to be a Pakistani, kid and all that stuff. And but I was afraid they were going to like whitewash the character.
Right.
But they didn't. I didn't know they did. I felt like they were like, no, this is what, a Muslim Pakistani teenager goes through.
Yeah, her character was very much what the comic book was.
Yeah.
Which I loved because I've loved the comic book. So I'm excited for it. We'll see how it plays out, but I think it's going to be fun. I don't know. And hopefully, because Captain Marvel is more of a galactic hero, that we'll get being on different worlds and doing some other cool, fun stuff. I'm just looking forward to it. I think it'll be a ton of fun, and nobody's talking about it. I think because some people just really dislike Brie Larson.
Which I don't understand.
Yeah.
I really don't understand because I actually think Brie Larson is a cute little actress. I don't think she's like the world's greatest actress. I don't think she'll ever be the world's greatest actress, but I think she's a fun actress.
Sure. Well, I know she made some political statements that made some people mad, but you know what? If you're going to discount her because of her political statements, don't you have to discount pretty much every actor that gets up there and spews whatever they're going to say? Let them do their job as an actor, judge them on that, and if they want to say something I agree with or disagree with politically, that's fine. I don't care. But my judging them as what they do for their job has nothing to do with that. So anyway.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, but it's one of those things, like, I don't think she said anything so bad that she needs to be canceled.
Well, the funny thing is, the funny thing is, the side that gets upset about canceling is the side that seems to have the big problem with her. And to me, that's kind of funny that you want to cancel somebody while you're talking about how stupid canceling is. And I agree, canceling something is pretty stupid most of the time. So, but
there are times that people deserve to be canceled.
Sure.
If they're a predator, they deserve to be canceled.
Sure, right. I agree. But we've used it, unfortunately, for people that disagree with us.
Yes.
On anything. And both sides have done that. So.
Yes. And everyone is allowed to have their opinion.
Right.
You do not have to like their opinion. Everyone is allowed to have their opinion. Do I think that there are some opinions that are super offensive, and as an employer, you have the right to fire somebody over that opinion?
Sure.
I do.
Right.
But
they're representing you.
Yes.
Especially in certain jobs. Yeah.
The whole internet trying to cancel somebody is a little extreme.
It is. Usually if you let somebody say something stupid long enough, they kind of prove to everybody that they're stupid. That's usually how that works. And if you're going out and trying to cancel them, then you're just kind of looking stupid yourself, and you're not letting people realize how stupid this person is. They start coming to the...
And listen,
whatever.
I would say, like, if we could go back and cancel people, like if there was like cancel people back in the day, like Hitler would be somebody you'd want to cancel.
Sure.
If they're spewing hate to the point of no return,
Mm-hmm.
but if they just have a different political view than you,
right,
maybe not cancel them. I do say you have the right to say, oh, I disagree with this person and they're stupid.
Sure, most definitely. Right. I don't want to hear them talk because when they just spew nonsense all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not saying they should be canceled or you're going to, write whoever trying to get their show to be, taken off the air or whatever.
Here's the truth facts, okay? History has not canceled the bad people.
Right.
Because we didn't start doing that until like 2010.
If then.
So before that, you just were like, you know what? I don't like the artist, but I can appreciate the art.
Right.
Do I think you need to give people like that money? No, I do not. Do I think that if you disagree with somebody, you can like boycott their shows? Yes, I do. Sure. But do I think that like every time somebody disagrees with you, you have to cancel them? No, I don't, because I live in a area that disagrees with me a lot, and I don't cancel everybody.
Well, you know what I've discovered, and I've always been kind of this way, but I really enjoy people that disagree with me because I get to kind of understand a different point of view. And I'm not trying to change their mind to my opinion. I'm fascinated by why they think the way they do.
As long as they disagree with you in a healthy, adult manner.
I don't know that happens much anymore.
No, but I don't deal with name calling. Don't call me a name because I disagree with you. I'm not calling you a name.
Right.
I don't do that. Like,
no, right.
I'm not. But I have conversations all the time. And Jason, who's my coworker who was on here earlier, will tell you that him and I disagree a lot. And we have conversations about why.
Right. Which is a healthy thing to do. Right, exactly. A discussion of ideas should be what we are about, not canceling somebody because their views are different. And I've had people that disagreed with me on tiny little parts of something that won't talk to me anymore because their view, and I'm like, look, we agree on so much, but you can't deal with the fact that I may have a different point of view than you on this. It's just part of life. But
it is. But
anyway,
I like Brie Larson. Said it. I don't think she's the greatest actress in the world. I don't agree with like her political views on a lot of things. I don't. It's fine. She's allowed to have them.
Right.
But I'm not going to not see a movie because she's in it. If she was predatorial or something like that, I want people to know I have standards. Like, I will not go see a movie. I've heard that Bill Cosby is going to try to tour this year with a comedy show. I don't know if this is true. I will never pay that man money to see him.
Is he out of prison?
He didn't. Yeah.
Because he went to prison, didn't he? I thought he was serving. Okay.
He's supposed to be doing a tour. So, like, I want people to know, like, I think people have the right for their political views. I think they should be able to say their political views. I draw the line. I will not pay. If he was in a movie, I wouldn't pay to go see it because I don't want to line his pockets because he's a predator.
Right.
And I wouldn't line the pockets of anyone who's like, a Nazi.
Right.
I know it's a different political view. It's just in my head. That's just where the line is.
And you're saying literal Nazi, not just somebody that disagrees with you. So
no, because I'm a grammar Nazi, if you're going to say it like that. But I mean somebody who literally thinks that people who aren't white should be dead.
Right.
That's not the thing.
That's just silly because nobody's purely white. So that's just silly talk. Anyway, so let's get back to movies. We've been doing this an hour and a half. We have to have our little moments. We skew away, people. So
okay, so let's see here. Going up, we talked that one. There.
All right. Dun 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 dun.
All right. So I'm excited about this. However, I will say this. I think they should let him retire.
Well, yes, I agree. I agree 100%. I was kind of surprised they made this one after the last one.
Right.
Because the last one was kind of his farewell, and then it wasn't nearly as good.
Right.
There were funny moments. There were really cool moments in it. But plot-wise and the alien thing, and I'm like, we had to go with Indy with aliens? I mean...
And I know that they were, like, hoping that, it would transition into his son taking over. And I think they could recast and do that. But I love Indiana Jones. Hey, here's another one. We talked about, like, Batista not wanting to be typecast. You couldn't have Han Solo and Indiana Jones if you didn't let him go to different movies.
This is true. This is very true.
I love Harrison Ford, but the man is getting older.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hoped that they would take off with this son idea so that he could then be the Sean Connery to his son.
The dog's name was Indy.
I love that one. That's my favorite Indiana Jones.
That's a great one. I agree. Yeah.
It's like, you just have Sean Connery going, scolding Harrison Ford. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I agree. The third one is absolutely amazing. So the first one, the third one, second one's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. The beating heart thing. I mean, that's still iconic.
Fourth one, I was hopeful, and then it was weird on me.
Yeah.
And then, but it was still Indiana Jones. I'm gonna see this. I love Indiana Jones, but I wish they would pass the torch.
Well, and it sounds like that's the plan. Now, if I'm hearing the speculation correctly, I don't love the plan on how they're going to do that, but okay, it's not my property to decide. We'll figure out if I like it or not after I see it. But yeah,
don't you wish these things were your properties to decide?
Right.
Because
yes,
I would do so many different things with these things.
Exactly.
We're not rich enough to make decisions.
No,
we just make people rich because we talk about these things.
That's right. Exactly. But now I'm excited for Indy also. I'm planning on seeing it because it's Indiana Jones, and I've seen every one of them 100 times. So.
Yes. And it's Harrison Ford, and I kind of love him. Like, in movies, he's a little predatorial. I'm not going to lie, people, but not in a bad way. I mean, Carrie Fisher was young, but she wasn't underage.
This is true. And she knew what she was doing.
He was a bad husband.
He was a bad husband. And Carrie Fisher was doing a lot of drugs. So, and Harrison Ford.
Right. We're so judgmental. People are watching this going, these people are judgmental. Listen.
We're telling you not to judge him. That was a long time ago.
Hey, listen, I think Tom Cruise is a terrible person, but I think he's a pretty good actor.
I agree.
Sometimes a good actor, sometimes a okay actor. Just depends on the
Show me the money, though. He'll make a bunch of it here for you.
That is a true statement. And he knows it.
Yeah, right. Well, Top Gun was at the top of the box office for how many weeks last year?
To be fair, Top Gun was at the top of the box office because there was hardly anything else playing.
But it was a really good movie.
I understand this, but it didn't have...
It's a summer blockbuster.
They put that movie... But we don't have summer blockbusters like we used to. They put that movie out at the right time. They got the right amount of contracts at like IMAX theaters and other theaters to make it be a blockbuster. They contracted people to have it for longer.
That's smart.
On big screens. Smart. It's smart. And it was a good enough movie that it could hold it. Like, they tried to do that with, like, Dunkirk, which I actually liked Dunkirk, but it was not a blockbuster movie that could last in IMAX for 12 weeks.
Well, and it was, it's not an action movie either. Where
it's an army movie.
It is, and then it had that Harry Styles guy. So we'll just, they went the wrong direction with that.
I did like Dunkirk, but it was boring.
Yeah, right, exactly. So let's both grab one more here, and then we'll wrap up because we're
over. I
know. This is us. If you've watched our show before, we just go over. I mean,
I think we have. Let's see. I'm trying to think. We'll leave. Evil Dead Rise is coming out, but we won't have to talk about it. I only have one more on my list.
Evil Dead Rise. Just the trailer. I'm just like, I just can't do that. So
my husband loves these movies.
I know.
So I try to be
I know, and I get that. Oh, we got added 20
So one of the movies I'm the most excited about comes out in June.
What is it?
I don't see it over there.
Well, tell me what it is. Maybe I missed it somewhere.
It's our favorite superhero.
Oh, and I did have. It's not there. That just burns my butter here.
But it's Spider-Man.
It is, and you're exactly right. And I don't know why. I loaded a whole bunch of them, and some of them may have failed.
It just didn't fail, yeah. But it's Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse, and you know what? I love all the Spider-Mans, but I'm getting to love Miles almost as much as I love Ben Reilly.
Wow, I'm with you, but yeah, it's hard to say because.
You guys don't know how much I love Ben Reilly. I just love the depth that he has. I love the difference that he brings, and I'm not just talking about his color and that culture. I'm talking about him as a character, as a person.
Right.
And Spider-Gwen comes back.
And I love Spider-Gwen. That was actually the image I had, was them sitting upside down on the building. I don't know where that's at, but we'll go with this one here.
But we have Spider-Gwen. And listen, Gwen Stacy is probably one of my favorite comic book girls ever. Because I love her more than Mary Jane. I'm just saying. I just said that. But I love this version of Gwen. I love Spider-Gwen, and I love this version of Spider-Gwen. Because there's a couple different versions of Spider-Gwen that have been out. Mm-hmm. I love this one. I love her relationship with Miles.
Yes.
Because I feel like because in her universe, Peter dies.
Right.
And she becomes the reason I love Peter Parker. She's the reason, she has that same reason, that fallible and not always being able to save people and that human touch. And she has that, but she has it with this really snarky and very sassy teenage girl, which I relate to. That's why I loved Peter Parker, because I kind of related to him, except I was a girl and he was a boy. So this lets me have that person. But
you lived in Queens and you lived in nowhere. Yeah, right. Yeah. Me too. So I live in nowhere.
I mean, I can't even think about taking a subway. I don't even know what that is. I know what it is. Don't think I'm stupid. I know what it is. I just have never done it because we don't even have buses here in Branson. We don't even have. No, we don't. We don't have public transit in Branson.
Yep, Branson's it's very different than New York, and the same thing. Grew up in Lockwood, so yeah. Even worse because we didn't even.
It looks so good.
It does, and if you look in the picture, there's several other different versions of Spider-Man back there doing stuff, which is really cool. And
I love, as a mom, you talked about dad and daughter moment. I love in the trailer that his mom is talking to him.
Right. Yes.
And she's like, I've always taken care of this little boy.
Right.
And now I need you to take care of this little boy. And that is such as a parent in general, that is the way you feel when your kids start growing up, is that you've taken care of them and you hope that you've instilled enough of you into them that they want to take care of themselves.
Yes.
But I love that moment because I think that's a moment that all parents, especially moms of boys, can understand, is that you're now like becoming a man, and in our society that means you don't listen to mom anymore.
Maybe you do still listen some to mom.
You should listen to your mom.
Always.
If your mom was a good mom. If your mom wasn't a good mom, I'm sorry. But it's just that moment where you're like, your kid's growing up, but you want them to love themselves the way you love them, because that's important, and to care for themselves the way you care for them. And I like that.
So one of my favorite things about Spider-Gwen is, in her universe, she's in a rock band called the Mary Janes.
I know.
Which I just love. So, and I do have to say, the traditional version, I cried when I read the comic where Gwen Stacy died in the 616, the regular universe. And I found it fascinating when they brought her in the Spider-Verse comic books to be a different character. I love that character. I always really liked Gwen Stacy. And I love how they portray her as Spider-Gwen. And I love this, actually, this version of her in this cartoon is amazing.
Yeah.
So I love that. And but I do have to say Mary Jane's still my favorite, but she's a redhead. So
I think Mary Jane is better for Peter Parker. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when Stan Lee was trying to decide who was going to be Peter Parker's love, like, he was up in the air about it. Like, apparently in interviews, he said he didn't know.
Well, that's why you got to let the story write itself there. The characters have to breathe and figure them out.
But I think Mary Jane is better for Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. But I like Gwen Stacy more.
I get that.
I like her personality more. Especially at the beginning when Mary Jane was way more of a party. Like, I would not have been friends with Mary Jane.
So it falls into the, I've always liked the bad girl and I've always liked the redhead. So I'm like, I'm all in.
All in for
Gwen Stacy was amazing. Like, oh, she'd make a great wife. But Mary Jane's a lot more fun to date.
See, I am such a Gwen Stacy as a personality.
You are.
And that's the thing. I feel like, and even this version. I mean, look at this. Like, oh, wrong way. Like, I have and I'm 46 years old and I still have the haircut. So, but I just think that she's smart and funny and a badass. And see, there's my one curse word. I was saving it. I'm so hard. It was so difficult. I've been saving that one. He's allowed one.
That's great.
But I just love her, and Miles is. I've gotten so. I've always liked him. Like, when he first came out, I liked him. Yeah. And as the comics have been going on, and as he's becoming more mainstream and people are getting to know him and stuff as a character, I really do think that he was such a great choice for Spider-Man writers, like that creative way of bringing in new blood and also keeping Spider-Man.
Right.
So,
and for people that don't know, there was this thing in the 90s and the 2000s called the Ultimate Universe, which things were different, and it was a different universe, so the characters were a little different. And Peter Parker was Spider-Man in that universe until he died. And it wasn't like in the 616 when Spider-Man dies, because he's done that several times and come back to life. This one he stayed dead, and somebody took up his mantle, and that was Miles Morales. And then eventually the universes collapsed together, and Miles is here along with this version of Peter. So you've got all of that. But that's how it works in the comics.
Into the Spider-Verse. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why you haven't, but and I know it's an animated, and a lot of people are like, I don't watch cartoons. I'm like, no, this is good.
If you see my shirt, by the way, so
I love Spider-Man so much.
Me too. Always been my favorite. So yes, so I want to follow up with one more movie, and we'll end on that because it also involves Spider-Man, but not sure how it's going to play out in the movies, and that is Kraven the Hunter.
Look at that smirk. That smirk is fun. Oh my god!
It is, in the fact that he's going to play this character who's got a lot of issues. I mean, he
to say the least.
To say the least, right?
He's probably one of the most disturbed characters. Like,
wants to save animals and the refuge. I mean, there's interesting backstory with him, but
within himself, within his own mind.
Within his own mind, yeah. Well, he's took a special thing to give himself powers, and so makes him. But that one of my favorite all-time Spider-Man stories is Kraven's Last Hunt.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
So it's a story in the '80s for people that don't know, where Kraven the Hunter, who at that point had kind of been written off as a doofus, and Spider-Man usually beat him pretty easily.
Right.
After being a very intense villain at the early days, but that story brought you into the psychological part of Kraven, and Kraven hunts Spider-Man and kills him and buries him, and takes over being Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man's not really dead. He was just kind of tranquilized, and Kraven ends up dying at the end and replaced. It's such a really bizarre but cool story.
But that's the thing, that he's one of my favorites, like villains for enemies for Spider-Man.
We've not seen him in any movies.
No, and in that rogue gallery, he's such. And Spider-Man and Batman have the best rogue galleries of any comic book character.
You can just say it's Spider-Man. It's okay.
Well,
Batman is a really great one, but
I'm married to a DC fan, so I have to throw that out there. However, I will say this: like, I think he's just one of those underrated ones that people don't realize. But yeah, I loved because he wants to be Spider-Man.
Right.
In a weird way.
Right. He wants to prove himself by being able to take over and be Spider-Man and do it better than Spider-Man can do it.
That's it. That's exactly. He wants to be the best, and he thinks Spider-Man's the best. And so he wants to beat the best. And that's the kind of thing, that's the drive. He wants to be the king of the jungle kind of vibe.
Exactly.
And no, I'm super excited about that. And the thing is like, I'm hoping that it pours more life into some more rogues. I want some more rogues getting their own movies.
The only problem I have with it is I would love to have the rogues at least interact with Spider-Man. If you're going to be a Spider-Man villain, you should have, and you're going to focus on the rogue part, at least have Spider-Man acknowledged in the movie or in the background, or talking about how you're plotting to do so. I mean, something involving Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be my preference. Venom was, I enjoyed the two Venom movies, but it would have been better if they would have been fighting Spider-Man rather than himself and Carnage.
But here's the thing: they wanted to bring Venom into the anti-hero part. Right. He didn't start that way.
No, he was a cold-blooded, crazy killer.
He was Carnage.
He was
Carnage. So, like, you have him battling Carnage. Like, he was the same as Carnage. Maybe not as crazy, but he was the same.
He didn't. The symbiote didn't bond with a psychopath already.
Yes.
Eddie Brock had many, many issues, but he was not a pure psychopath already.
Narcissist,
yes. Yes. Anyway, but no, I'm excited for the movie. I'm hopeful that we'll get some sort of cameo for Spider-Man in here.
Would be good.
something, because,
or at least a mention of him,
right.
or like, here's the thing, and they can just do this. Like, they could do these little weird throwaway things. Like, they could have like a newsstand with Spider-Man and on the magazine, or they could
The
be
Daily Planet, you flash by the Daily Planet with menace.
yes, something that kind of ties it together. But I don't know. I haven't seen a lot about this movie yet. Like, I've seen a
There's
little
not
bit.
a lot out there on it
Yeah.
yet. But.
And so I'm not sure where they're going to go with it, but hopefully.
And I did see there have been several other members of the Rogues Gallery that's going to be making an appearance in this movie.
I'm not sad about that.
No. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. Now, some of them, I'm hoping they don't just make them lackeys to them. That would be disappointing. I believe Chameleon is one of them, which really does fit with Craven very well.
Yeah.
But don't make him a lackey. Just make him a part of, you're working together with this guy who also has these abilities. That would be a really cool way to go. Because too often,
they like to do that, though. They like to take these characters who are in their own right good rogue, and they like to be like, oh, okay, well, this is the more popular rogue.
Right.
I'm actually shocked that they're doing Craven. I'm not even gonna lie.
I was too, and I'm like, whoa, Craven. I mean, part of me wants to be skeptical of it, especially knowing it's not really involving the MCU at all. But then I'm like, but it's Craven, and you're gonna bring in some cool other bad guys, and okay, dang it, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And it's a Spider-Man villain, so let's more than just Venom.
Let's face it, almost every Marvel villain is a Spider-Man villain at one point.
You're exactly right. Most of them started off as Spider-Man villains.
I mean, not all of them. There are certain ones, but
Red Skull did not. But
the majority of them.
A vast majority started out. Most of the villains that other heroes fight, including Kingpin, started off as Spider-Man villains.
That was always a he started as a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
That's how he was introduced.
Right.
Especially
Daredevil can have his thing with him, but
yeah, especially if they're in that New York area. They were a Spider-Man villain at one point.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's call it here. There were some others that we could have talked about. Fast X coming out, and I don't know what else. I'm sure there's some other things we missed, but those are the ones we're most excited about for movies coming out this next year or this year.
Dune.
Oh, you are right, Dune. I had that on here, and I chose to go with Craven.
But that's coming out too. We're super excited about that.
That will be a lot of fun.
I mean, Timothy, he's so cute. He's so cute. Like
I don't know about that part, but
no, but he's like, he has such a good energy. I'm not saying like my son has a crush on him, but I don't, because he's way too young for me. I'm way too old for that.
Come on, Harrison Ford. It's okay.
So I'm too young for Harrison Ford, but I'm too old for Timothy.
I was thinking you were making you were Harrison Ford to his Carrie Fisher sort of thing there.
No, I would never do that. Never. That would bother me so much. So much, Professor.
So my mom, and in this little story, my mom was dating a guy younger than me after she got divorced. She'd been divorced like a year and a half at that point, and started dating this guy. And I'm like, okay, Mom. Yeah, you're going to meet him and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? Do I need to meet him? I mean, we kind of know that he's your boy toy. That's fine. Whatever.
So I have this rule, and I've been single several times in my kid's life, but I have this rule that if you could have had a play date with my kids, I'm not dating you. If I could have helped your mom change your diaper at the park while my kid was playing, I'm not dating you. That's my law. That's my law. Like, I'm like, if you are within like 10 years of my kid's age, I'm not dating you.
Well, and some actors are like, dude, hold my beer. You could have been my granddaughter's age. Let's date.
Not just actors. There are real people out there like that.
I know, but actors have a tendency to do that.
I know, it's weird.
It is. It is weird.
What do you have in common with somebody that much younger than me? Not saying that there's anything bad. Please do not cancel me because I said this. But I'm just saying, in my head,
for your rule, for you.
In my head, I can't get past it. I can't be like, I'm going to date somebody who went to school with my kids.
Right. No, I'm with you.
Or could have gone to school with my kids.
I think that's a fair rule. So
that's a fair rule. That's why my husband's only 2 years younger than me. I have
that's right. That's right.
Guys, but 2 years.
I've got a friend, and her husband is, I don't know, 12 years younger than her.
I have a problem with that.
And they were older. They got married older. It wasn't like, but we joke with, did you drive by his elementary school and say, hey there, little boy?
Oh, God. No, Professor, no.
What's the joke? They didn't meet until he was like 30. So many. But you're like, all right. So you just give people a hard time sometimes. So,
no, anyway. It's just a personal preference. And if you are an older woman dating a much younger man, or an older man dating a much younger woman, as long as that person is over the age of consent, which is 18 in my head. I don't care if it says it's 17. It's 18 in my head. And you guys are in consensual and everything else, more power to you. I don't have a problem with other people's lives. I'm just saying in my life, I couldn't get it.
Even though behind your back, she'll say, gag me with a spoon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, so duh. Like, duh.
Grody.
See, if you don't get that, I couldn't date you either.
Exactly.
I'm a happily married woman, so I'm not dating anyone.
Right, you can't date, just like me. Can't date anybody. That's okay. I mean, my youngest sister is trying to date after, being married and that going badly. I just cannot imagine the things she tells me. And some of these guys, I'm like, dude, did you get past 13 yet? Because you're acting like you're 13 again. So,
you know how many guys tried to slip into my DM when I was single? And I didn't even know what that meant. Like, until I was single, and then they were like, hey, and Dakota's like, Mom, they are slipping into your DMs. And I was like, that just sounds disgusting.
Especially when they send you pictures.
I could have made a coffee table book. I seriously was going to make a coffee table book.
Still do that. My sister thought that was funny, by the way, because I told her that story. So.
I was going to make a coffee table book.
You still should. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Let's go to
our very extremes to the other. Oh my gosh. Okay. So
trying to keep us on a PG-13 level, because that conversation quickly goes non-PG if we're not careful.
Yes, but we were good.
We were.
And I only said one curse word.
See, there you go. You got it.
And it
the censors will be happy.
It was just the A word. I didn't even use the F word. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, you guys have no idea. Like, none. Like, I look sweet and innocent, but I have the mouth of a sailor. It's a fine thing. It's fine. Sorry. So we always end our episodes with some shout outs to our friends. And so we're going to go through some of these, and we're going to shout out to some of our friends. So the first one we've got is the OzPod Gals on Thursday on Facebook at 6 p.m. Sometimes they are on hiatus, so you never know. But go over and check out their videos. They do some pre-recorded stuff, and they do some live things. And you never know when they're gonna actually be on there. I know it says Thursdays, but
so we'll have to update that.
They're busy women.
They are.
But they're smart, they're funny, they're nerdy, and they're amazing. And they're from the OzCon family, which is in West Plains, Missouri. And which is my favorite con of all time. So be sure to go check them out. be sure when you're over on their Facebook page, hit like. That way you can get some like updates when they're doing that. If you go on to, like, I don't know if they have a YouTube yet, but if they do, any of these people that we are talking about, if they have YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, hit like, subscribe, all of that, because that's how we know you like us.
And that helps the algorithm so other people can see the content.
That's a big thing, and people don't realize that. People do not realize that.
So even if you subscribe to their channel, always like their post, as long as you don't hate their post. Like their post, because that does help the algorithm for other people to see such cool stuff also.
Like, share, comment. That helps so much, especially on Facebook and YouTube. Like, share, comment. It's a big thing.
And the other social media is there too.
Oh, wrong one.
Wrong one. Oh my goodness.
First, we'll start out with their Facebook page and their YouTube. It's the Nerd Informants. Josh and Tim, Professor calls them the Distinguished Competition to our Marvel. So
that's right.
You know what that means? You get it. But they have amazing, like, they do reviews on all the movies. They get to go see all the new movies when they come out. I'm a little jealous. And they do reviews on that. They do some like fun reviews on some books and video games and all kinds of stuff. They do a podcast, and Josh, who's one of the Nerd Informants, he does his own podcast called Hollywood's Calling, where he interviews all kinds of famous people. And Tim Church, he's the other half of the Nerd Informants. He does all kinds of fun entertainment for the Branson Trilakes News. So they are all about entertainment, media, and getting you guys informed. So be sure to go check them out. Hit like, subscribe, and all of that.
I think we should get a podcast just for movie reviews and try to get into the theaters where they're going to be at also, and set up a booth across from them. I think we should do that, because that would just be the fun thing to do. Distinguished competition.
Right. They are sponsored by the Branson IMAX Theater. So that's where they go to see all their movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll have to get some other bins in there. So.
Right.
There's room enough for two. What are you talking about?
There. Seriously. I got to see both of them today because I work with Tim, but Josh came into the office, so I got to see Josh today, and that's a lot of fun. But the Nerd Informants did something fun for everyone. Is if you have something nerdy you want to share, or a fun meme, or maybe you have a question about like a comic book character or a cosplay or something, they have a great Facebook page that they put together, and it's called the Nerd Informants Beyond, and it's where anyone can add any kind of geeky, cool, nerdy stuff, depending on if you're a geeky cool person or a nerd informant person.
Exactly.
But we joke.
You can like both.
You can love both. I love both. It's amazing they come on our show and stuff. But go check that out and add your own stuff. Become a part of this nerd informant geeky community, and just have some fun. But be sure to be nice to everyone.
Right. Use your good manners.
Use your manners. Okay. We have Keith and Gary over at Pop Culture Minefield on YouTube. They have so many shows. I can't even keep track anymore. I can't. But they have so much insight, and they know so much about the business, and they get you some scoops.
They do. They most definitely do.
So be sure to go over to Pop Culture Minefield on YouTube. They also have a Facebook page. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell them what you want to see. If you have a question, an inside kind of question about Hollywood, be sure to ask it in their comments, because I bet they might have the answer.
Now, be prepared. If you ask that question, it may be an hour-and-a-half answer.
It's a true statement.
With lots of curse words if Gary is involved. So just be prepared.
Also, if you're over there and you have small children, we try to keep things PG-13. I'm allowed one curse word. But they are a little bit more like I am in real life. So Gary and I think, have about the same amount of cursing. But he does not keep it PG-13. So put the headphones on if you don't want your children to hear bad words. But please go listen to them anyway, because they are hilariously funny. And they are so knowledgeable. So, and then Keith chimes in and it's another show that he does, and it's on Mondays at 3 p.m. on YouTube, but it's on the Fat Steven Seagal show. So I don't know what he's talking about now, but you know it's gonna, like, he did almost a whole year just on Babylon. Right?
Babylon 5, yep.
Like, every episode he broke it down to the bare bones. And why
he's great at doing stuff like that. Really good at breaking it down, yeah.
I'm not that good at breaking things down. It's okay. I can't even break a box down right. It's fine.
Long as it's flat, it doesn't matter.
It's fine. And then we have my partner in life, but our partner here at Geeky Cool, the Scallywag himself, over at Scallywag Productions on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's all, but I'm not sure. He's probably somewhere else. He's on eBay now.
He's on eBay. There you go. Check him out on eBay.
And he does a collectible of day. All the collectibles back here are his. And he'll post some of mine and stuff too. But he is doing, we're working on different ideas for upcoming seasons of shows for the 2023 season. But he has a whole library of shows, from the show with Danny and him, to a series of enigmatic events with me. He always said that because I have a hard time. To mindless dribble. So you can literally go find any kind of show on his Facebook and YouTube.
And they're all very enjoyable to watch. So check it out.
Let's face it, he's better when he's with me.
This is very true. That there's no. I'm sure he would completely agree with that too, AJ. So.
I doubt it, especially on camera. And then there's us.
There's us. We're here.
We have a website. We don't just do this Facebook and YouTube. We have a website. It's our own website where we have all kinds of contributors who write all kinds of stuff, and they post things, and you can get to know them by their list of favorites and all kinds of things. And we are hoping to get some new and fun things going on with our website, but go check it out. It's kid friendly. And it's always going to be kid-friendly. You don't have to worry about that. And like us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. You're watching us on one of them.
Right, you are. Right now.
It doesn't take long. You hit the little subscribe, hit the bell. You can, get all kinds of things. And if you're on Facebook, you hit like, and that helps us out. Plus, you get to see us.
Exactly.
Unless they don't want to see us.
If you hit like enough, Facebook starts going, okay, maybe we should show it.
That's true.
Yeah,
they might not want to see us.
I bet they do.
Well, it has been so much fun getting back to this. I'm looking forward to season 2.
Me too. Season 2 is a bright future. We've got a lot of great things coming. I'm trying to get some people figured out to come on for us to interview and talk with. And there's a couple people that I really am hoping I can make a connection with to get on here, because I think it would be really fascinating. And some of it may even remind you of some of the enigmatic stuff that you've done. So, yeah, that's my hope. So we will see how things progress there, but we always have a great time. And thank you, AJ, for returning with us for season 2. So I'm super excited to be here. We'll do this every week, and we'll get that schedule all ironed out and everything else, guys. So just watch for the news. We'll be posting, and that we're coming soon. And of course, it'll be next week. We will be back, and next week we're going to talk about what television shows we're excited for.
Yes,
so,
there's so many. I didn't put them on the list because I had time to do this today.
I didn't expect you to do everything. It's all good. It's all good. So we'll get that up, and you guys can see our list next week on that. And make sure to share this with other people if you've enjoyed things. Let them know that we're back and what's going on, because we're back, baby.
It's like, you know, that little girl, that little video of that little girl who's like,
yes.
That's when people say we're back, baby, I just go.
So, we could go a little Brian Johnson from AC/DC and be, we're back.
Yeah, I'm not that cool. I'm the geek, you're the cool.
That's never been true.
That's where this goes.
So I do like my rock music, but I've never been cool. So other than cool with a K, because
Cool with
geeks are cool. So all right, guys, we will see you next time. Until then, stay geeky.
And be nice to each other.
And be nice to each other. Understand, everybody's going through something. It's all